Fight presents.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and I am not alone. She's the host and creator of a Wrestling Gal podcast. Please welcome Ella J.
Hello, how are you, TK? I am fabulous to be here. Super honored.
Thank you. I am wonderful. And today is going to be an amazing show. And of course, nothing but amazing guests. And today is no exception. She is the 9-time women's champion, executive producer, and singer-songwriter. You've seen her on WWE, Impact, NWA. Please welcome Mickie James.
Hi. Hello. So nice to meet you. And Ella, I was just saying, you're everywhere now.
So. You can't get rid of me now.
This is
It is. Thank you so much for being on our very first show on Fight. I am excited for this brand partnership, and I'm excited that you are our first guest. And here is my question. I feel like we're able to get you because you have new freedom. And, after an interview, after a release from WWE, you said you're excited about your newfound freedom. What was the first thing that you did once you were released?
Well, I had to sit back for a minute. I think I took that whole day. But even when it happened, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Reset. Like just a reset, And I think because I'd been there before and obviously I've, been in different companies and left and come back and done other things. So I actually got, after it kind of settled in, that's what it is. I got excited because I got excited about all the things that, perhaps I've been working on, from my music to other projects and a lot of the charity work and stuff that I do, that sometimes my time was limited or the ability or the freedom to be able to just go and do those things was kind of limited. So now it's like, well, I can literally go maybe do everything that I want to do now. So that's kind of cool. And obviously it's always disheartening at first because you're like, oh, this is my family. This is my, you just feel like kind of cut off from your family for a bit. But then there's like, oh, but I can do so much. Now I have the freedom to be able and the ability and the knowledge to then go and be like, you know what? Instead of always like, that's the cool thing is like, instead of always depending on one thing to, provide your income, your happiness, your thing, you take your power back and like, okay, now I am being all these things, doing all these things. And it's on me to either deliver or, deliver,
Pretty much. You've been absolutely taking back that power and have been absolutely glowing ever since. So with this newly acquired freedom, what are some of your secrets to staying ageless and achieving this massive glow, girl?
Oh, I love you. Well, I have been using Drunk Elephant products.
Shameless plug.
I do love them, but I also, there's this a youth serum that I've been using, which is a different thing that I got sent from my LA Weekly box. They sent it to me and I'm like, I need some more of this stuff. But honestly, I feel like, stress causes a lot of worry and can weigh you down and make you almost feel, it just puts out. So when you have like being that like stress-free and I won't say worry-free because obviously there is a bit different pressure now that I am kind of, hustling again. So, but I just think that is just giving me a new air. I appreciate you. It's a good filter, makeup, some good contouring,
Okay.
Well, you look amazing. And how do you describe the overall vibe or atmosphere of St. Louis?
It's just amazing. It's been incredible. The people have been so excited. The energy around the event. I think because we're going back to such a historic place. My son's just come in here.
Oh, little D.
But since we're going back, there was so much history made at the Chase. with, wrestling in general. And many companies have tried to go back into the Chase and have this event and bring wrestling back to the Chase. And for whatever reason, it just never lined up. But with, us going back on the road and us, trying to venture out and bring NWA, because we really have just been filming in Atlanta, but not really. They stopped doing a lot of stuff during the pandemic. And now to be able to go back on the road and come out, but then start with this historic event, which is obviously the anniversary show, was already going to be huge. 73rd anniversary was already going to be a huge event. But then to add EmPower to kick it off, and then we're just added a fan fest both days to be able to the NWA stars and do a bunch of different stuff during the day. It's just all really exciting. I mean, the press conference was awesome. The local media picked it up the day it was announced. There was the local Fox station was out there doing interviews live in front of the Chase. I mean, it's a pretty big deal, I think, for the city, for us, and for wrestling, and just for the history of wrestling. So I'm super excited about it. And I couldn't be more honored and proud to be ahead, to be heading up this event, to be heading up EmPower. And I think it's really cool of Billy to give me that platform and to say, here, deliver it, and so it's a huge blessing, but it's also a lot of pressure. And so I want to kick some ass out there,
Now, you obviously won't be wrestling at EmPower, but you are making your in-ring return at NWA's 73rd anniversary show. And I kind of asked you this before, but do you have any special plans or sources of inspiration for your ring gear at NWA's 73rd anniversary show that you can share with us?
I'm open to suggestions here. I'm open. Obviously, I'm telling you, I've just missed hardcore. I've got hardcore country coming back with a vengeance. It's getting real out here, So it will be hardcore country inspired. I will say that. Yeah. Like, what should I rock? I was thinking some leather, some fringe, some rhinestones,
classic Mickie,
a sweet ass jacket. Lots of fringe, all the bells, maybe
studs,
lots of studs, maybe a few grommets.
Oh my gosh! I feel like I'm gonna have a vision in 2 or 3 more questions, and that's gonna come to me, and then I'm gonna just blurt out, "You should do this." That often happens.
Yeah,
so.
I'll be up by the time I get to the ring, but I'll be weighed down with so many crystals and studs.
Oh my gosh! So I have it literally just clicked. So you're doing NWA. You have Gail over at Impact. You have Maria over at ROH. 3 amazing women with amazing careers. Was there something in the water at that time, or do you guys get to just the fact that there's just an explosion of so many women events, and there's so many female wrestlers? We've only repeated interviews maybe 2 or 3 times, but over the last 4 years, we've had a different guest every week. So, I mean, can you speak to that? What's the secret? What's going on?
I think it's just, you think about, even for EmPower, I've asked Gail to come on board and help me. I've asked Medusa to come on board and help me. I've asked Jazz to come on board and help me. And I even asked Lufisto, but obviously Canada, everybody's locked down. So who's helping from behind the scenes there? But it's, it's a whole thing. We're all stuck, right? Mm-hmm. But I will say, and I wanted to ask those women especially, and I've reached out, and I've hugely supporting Maria with this tournament and heading this up and doing all that. I think it's really cool to see women's wrestling on the rise. And obviously even WWE just announced the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome. I love that. I love it. And I think the more that we can do, and MLW is now announcing their kind of women's driven so I think that the more that everyone does, because everyone's kind of taken notice that this is a thing, and this is there's a real audience here. There's an audience that specifically only watches women's wrestling, that doesn't really watch the male products as well. So I think that everyone's kind of stepping up and taking notice, but I think it's just a lot because there's a lot more women available out there that are really, really good. And before, like with Gail and Jazz and myself, like there weren't as many women still working behind the scenes because there weren't as many women available or in that position to be able to do that and to be, you know, you think about it, there was. And I don't know why that was. I mean, maybe it's because at that time, you know, there was only one women's championship and there was less women on the roster. And so there was just, and it wasn't, women weren't really perceived as in that space to be an equal. And that's the reality, you know, to be at the forefront, you know, unless they were more on the business side. But I think that's just been our culture, you know, kind of evolving overall, and wrestling coming to that realization of like it's just everybody's kind of stepping up. And now that there's so many more women who have been champions, who have made money, who know how to work television and how to draw and how to do what's right for the people and for television and the overall product on a larger scale, there's a lot more of those women available out there have been there, done that, got a t-shirt that they can help mold the future to do that same things, you know. And so yeah, that's the reality. That's in a nutshell my 10-minute answer. There's just
there's a lot going on though.
Yeah, there's so much going on, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see because I've been wanting this all along. Like, so I think that all of us have wanted this all along. It's just repeating ourselves enough to where everybody goes, okay, let's do it. And then it's successful, and then it does well, and they're like, oh, you got, I'm so glad we thought of this. Glad we thought
Honestly,
of it.
though.
Yeah. That brings me into my next question. So both you and Maria's on the show as well, talked about evolution and how, and I think Gail had, Lita had said that as well, that evolution's not going to back, according to some people in WWE. And then you had mentioned in an interview, you know, the folks were saying it's because it was not a lot of people are watching, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think could have been done to change that, as far as, because I watched it, I thought it was amazing, but I also have a show that covers women's wrestling, so anything women's wrestling, I'm for it. But is there something that you feel that could have saved that, or do you think it had to fail in WWE's eyes for everything else? Like everybody else said, well, you guys didn't do it right, so we're going to do it right.
I don't think that. Okay, this is a tough question. Not a tough question, but it's like, how do you? I don't think that it will, like when I say, oh, it was set, I don't think that it was like set up to fail in a sense of like where it just, I just don't think it was that much thought was put into it as a whole. And so by design, it was kind of set up to fail in a sense because it wasn't, you know, I feel like we could have, like they could have announced a lot of the matches a lot sooner and built to those matches on television in like a space, because there's 3 hours, 5 hours of television, even some time on 205 Live and main event. There's different places. So really, you know, close to 10 hours of television plus network plus all these other things that we could have done to maybe build to the event. But I thought the event, when they said that, like when that was said to me, like, oh, it wasn't, that's not really actually true, because it wasn't the lowest rated pay-per-view and it was a pretty sold out event. Like I think once we got there and everything, it was really the energy and stuff. Now, I don't know, you know, what else we could have done besides maybe promote the matches more, build up some of that on television to generate more interest on a pay-per-view aspect, because I feel like the arena was pretty solid and the crowd was hot, and overall the show was great. Like the show was great. If you haven't seen it, you should go back. Like it was really, really incredible show, and it was a powerful night, and it was all those things. It was more of like, I don't know why we really didn't do it again, because in my mind, I thought it was very successful in what it did, you know, and I also don't know what the expectations were or how much money it had to generate to then justify to say that it was actually successful. So there's a lot of those factors that go into business decisions per se. But honestly, I think it was one of those things of, you know, it was right and aligned with Saudi Arabia too, where allowed to, women weren't allowed to go to Saudi for obvious reasons. And then finally, recently, they've been allowed to go, maybe 2 of them, but they're in the full, I think that's incredible strides for women to be able to go there. And the fact that they've been able to facilitate that, and then the women because the women over there need females to look up to and to inspire and to do those things. And so that's a really, really cool moment. But for a lot of times, the women weren't allowed to go over there, and that's a lot of money for those Saudi shows,
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know. I don't know if it just didn't align. And since, we were able to do that, but I just don't know why the promotion, there wasn't more.
We're all shaking our head. I don't know. I think at least did it one more time to to just double check on a time where
I think that it was successful, and I think that another one would be successful, and I think that if it was an annual event,
mm-hmm.
that every year you come together and you celebrate the women, even if it was just that annual event that you did. I mean, even the Mae Young Classic, I thought the Mae Young Classic was a really that was really, really awesome. And to give a lot of these girls a chance to get seen and possibly signed and or get signed elsewhere to just kind of build all these things are really, really incredible. I just don't know why we just didn't do Evolution again, because I felt like that was the biggest one, and there was a lot of energy around it, and we could have, it could have been an annual thing, and it still could be. I never say it's not possible.
Yeah,
it's not.
You just never know. People come back and things come back.
Yeah. We'll just keep keeping our fingers crossed like this.
Please, right?
But you talk like we're doing EmPower, and it's going to be awesome. That's what we're.
Exactly. And you talk about celebrating women's wrestling and really breaking through these glass ceilings. You also recently returned at Impact at their Slammiversary pay-per-view, which not only opened, but I think really unhinged this forbidden door, as they say in pro wrestling, which is something I think we really rarely see in women's wrestling. It really. So what are your thoughts on this, I think, monumental occasion, and really the possible effect it could have on maybe future crossovers?
I think that I was excited to come back to Impact. I have a family there. It was obviously cool to step in the locker room and see so many of my friends, and that's the beauty of being in the business. It is a small circle, and so you're going to cross people over and over and over again. And so I'm grateful that I've been able to have and maintain my friendships and relationships along the way. So I was so excited to be able to go back and to hear Hardcore Country again, and to have this moment at Slammiversary. I think, forbidden doors are one of those things of, technically I'm not a contracted team. I'm an independent contractor. We as wrestlers are independent contractors. So, as a whole, and I know that there is exclusivity within certain contracts and stuff, but I think the beauty of being an independent contractor is I'm here to do business for EmPower and what's going to make an incredible pay-per-view. And I really want to bring all the brands together, because I think, or do business with anyone who wants to do business with Mickie James, because I think that's what's best for the women's brand that I'm trying to develop overall, especially when, not anyone is really cultivating a product for their women and that audience right now, specifically, and if someone says, oh, well, why do you need an all women's product? And I'm like, well, but television overall has been an all men's product since wrestling has begun. And then there's exclusive shows just where only men wrestled in, so why not?
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
I mean,
plus it's good energy, and everybody's excited, and it's cool to have Impact team with NWA. It's cool to have these relationships, whether it be Ring of Honor or AEW or even WWE, to say we support our women. It's cool to have those things and those moments, and I think it's powerful for the girls in the locker room. I think it's powerful across the board, and I think it's powerful for the young youth who are coming up, who need to be inspired, who want to be inspired to say that women can be more than just small and quiet and humble, that we can be powerful and take over the whole world.
gave me goosebumps.
Who run the world?
Oh my gosh, it was. I mean, this is the reason why this show happened. Like, I was doing research because I was on X-Pac 12360 as his co-host, and I was looking at other shows, and I just saw all these shows. It's like 10 men, one female wrestler, another 10 interviews of men. And it's just kind of like, there are way more female wrestlers in there. Why not have a show that's just dedicated to female wrestlers,
right,
and telling their story? So I completely understand, and it's just, I think it's absolutely amazing. So now, now if you could have any celebrity to be your manager for an evening, so say for NWA 73, for example, who would you choose and why?
Matthew McConaughey, because he's Matthew McConaughey.
It's true.
Yes.
Known.
And he'd be dressed like the Matthew McConaughey from that male strip dancer movie that he did.
Well, I mean, yeah, he could just dress in clothes, and that's fine. I think that he could. Well, I just think with hardcore country, you know, hardcore country, and he goes, all right, all right, all right, and then I come out. I think that's cool. Or maybe he could drive us to the ring in a Lincoln. I don't really know.
You got to make that happen, Mick.
He's probably like, she is a weirdo. I am.
No, I can see it.
They would be cool. You know, he's got to wear a cowboy hat or something, you know. Maybe a huge belt buckle.
Oh, my God.
We have time.
We have tons of time. We'll put the belt buckle on the front of the Lincoln, actually, like the steer horns, but just like a belt buckle that screams hardcore country.
I like it. I'm for it.
I love it.
Now, obviously, we mentioned also, speaking of NWA 73, you are making your in-ring return there. But moving forward beyond that, how do you kind of plan or hope to evolve your in-ring work or steer yourself creatively even more inside of this new space in NWA?
Ooh. Well, you know, I am excited to get in the ring again, and I'm excited to wrestle. I've been trying to train and get ready to get back in the ring because it's been a minute, you know. I'm excited, and I want to deliver because I think it's going to be a big night because I haven't wrestled in so long, and it's a whole different world out there, and so I'm excited and nervous, but you know,
I think you'll be okay.
I'm going to kick ass, but I'm just kidding. But I seriously am really excited about I'm serious about trying to build an all-women's product and an all-women's driven. So I really am putting a lot of attention and focus into that and how to bring that to life. And if I can, awesome. That would be really cool. So I don't really know. I don't know what to expect and what to think. What do you do? What should I do? Because I'm out here on an island, actually.
You're the 23-year veteran, 22-year veteran. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think I should just beat everybody. And
yes.
I think that's kind of the goal. I just need to be like, and I can have like 10 championships. I'll have special carry-on bag that is the you know, hard case roll through the airport. That can accommodate about, you know, 50 pounds luggage.
It's your workout right there.
I have an idea.
I'm just assuming that they're about each 10 pounds, you know, so 5 or 6, that's roughly.
So here's what I think you should do.
Okay.
We have some time. So, you know, on via Twitter, you just start calling people out. So, you know, you already have EmPower kind of set, but now it's just kind of like, y'all who thought you were badasses, like, I'm here, come at me. And you start calling them out. And instead of just having one match, it'll be like, they just come one after the other.
Like a gauntlet?
Like a gauntlet style and just beat everybody back to back to back.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that idea.
More than enough time to train. More than enough time to make it work. I want to see that.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
We need
to let us borrow the elimination chamber, you know? We can paint it pink. It'll be great.
Oh my gosh. So now you also quoted Serena Deeb as being the best women's wrestler today, but in your eyes, who is the best or some of the best women talent outside of NWA?
Oh, wow. Well, best wrestler in the world, I think, is her new t-shirt with the women's crossed out, which, you know, I ain't mad at you. Love it. Some of the best out there right now. Oh God, there's. I think Britt Baker's killing it. I think Deanna's killing it. I think freaking Sasha and Charlotte and Becky and Bailey. I mean, I think there's so like all those girls are just incredible. I think. God, there's some really great like, and I think I'm hoping to show you some really amazing talent within the NWA EmPower that we're bringing in. Some fair like newer talent that you haven't seen yet. So I'm excited about that. The reality is there's a lot of there's even girls that just aren't on television yet that are really, really talented and just need that space to grow and show who they are. And it's, you know, it's just hard. It's harder to get signed, I think, as a girl because there's so much talent out there. Whereas before, if you were really good, you would get scooped up right away, you know? So, yeah, it's exciting.
Now, you mentioned Deanna, and I mean, I've already told you this. Obviously, Deanna is currently slated to be competing at NWA's EmPower pay-per-view against an opponent that is yet to be publicly announced. But do you have any personal hopes to square off with her in the future, perhaps?
In the future? Well, I don't know. She keeps side-eyeing me. I might have to. Every post I do, she's like rolling her eyes. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to be nice to you. I thought this was a cool thing. You know, do you know, TK, that Deanna is Ella's favorite wrestler?
I didn't.
You're my favorite wrestler.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I say that as I'm wearing a Deanna shirt. I love you, Deanna. But
I mean,
I would love to face her. I would love. I think that we could have I think what she's been able to do since she showed up at Impact is incredible. Yeah. And I think that she's been able to redefine herself and really kind of evolve herself now on television. And she's done a whole lot, and she's going to continue to do a whole lot of things because she's young and she's talented and she's driven and she's, you know, an ass kicker. And she really loves the art of wrestling, which is a cool thing to see because I love the art of wrestling.
She's technical. Yeah.
She's very
virtuosa.
Yeah. She is very technical. She might be in an armbar or something. I don't like that.
Listen,
I love the fact that she was able to kind of like do her own thing, and then it just kind of brought her to us in that sort of way. Whereas, you know, in other places, she just wasn't able to flourish. So I definitely love seeing that. Yeah. So EmPower and NWA 73 also fall on your birthday weekend. So any plans? I mean, other than running the gauntlet and running EmPower and, you know, doing everything else, any plans for that birthday weekend in addition to?
Well, I'm not. So I said the other day on on the after party that I stopped drinking. Well, I actually, before I said, I'm just not going to drink from here to there, I actually hadn't drank for like a week. And I said, I just thought, because I'm like, so I'm not drinking up until my birthday.
Ooh.
Because then it's the last day of TV tapings, and then then we can just kind of celebrate the whole, and I'm driving home the next day. So I have, you know, it's okay. I don't have to worry about making my flight or anything.
Now, have you like not drank for a period of time and then started drinking?
I've definitely cut out, like it's not even something that I think I do. This is the first time I've ever done it where I go like, okay, I'm not drinking until this, because I'm trying to, here's the thing is that I've been so busy and overwhelmed, like trying to do all these things, making phone calls, setting up the car, doing all the things, right? That my workouts and not really my diet, but my workouts have slacked out. So I have to, now that I have kind of everything pretty much locked in and I feel good about everything, I need to kick everything else into overdrive on the workout side. Okay. And that includes one of my things is having cocktails at least for about a month. And just so I can, you know, it's the sugars and it's the thing. I'm just trying to be good.
You're so good though.
Yeah. Why I asked that is because I stopped drinking.
You know, we're not committed. We are committed, but we're, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I stopped drinking in January, and I was too like, okay, I just didn't know. I was like, I'm just not gonna drink anymore. And then one month turned into 6 months, and then I had my first drink, and within the first few sips, my body was like, oh, we're tipsy now. So I'm just saying that just to let you know that if you do that, it just might be, your usual full cocktail might be like half a cocktail and your body's like, all right, we're good.
Right. So like 4 or 5 is like 2. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, no, I have not like drank in spaces obviously before, but it's just, it's one of those things that's like easy to, I'm not a huge, well, I won't say, I'm not a huge drinker. I'm not like a weekly or anything. When I drink, but I don't need to have drinks or whatever. So I thought it was just an easy thing to cut, for me, so until somebody has a birthday party and they're like, I'll just have a drink,
Of course, we have to celebrate those sometime. We got to find another way to celebrate your birthday because it's obviously
my birthday.
No, I know, but we still got. I mean, we got the weekend, but
right.
What is going to be the first drink that you're going to have then?
I will probably go with the huge, a little Tito's soda and a splash of pineapple and cranberry.
Ooh, okay.
Like a little both, but the soda with a little splash of each to kind of zhuzh it up a bit. And maybe they put cherry in there. I don't know.
Interesting.
You think so? The bar fruit.
I mean, it depends what bar you go to, too. I don't know any of the bars in St. Louis. So.
I mean, they'll probably give me a lime or something. That's what they'll give me.
We'll see, right? We'll see. But looking back on your career as a 22-year-old veteran in this industry, I want to know, what is the wildest or craziest thing you have ever seen happen in a wrestling ring?
Oh, gosh. From fans jumping in to getting beat up to thrown out to... I think that's kind of the wildest stuff. That's the unpredictable stuff.
Yeah.
When the fans run into the ring, or when the one fan speared Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
pretty much steamrolled over Natty. Just all the things. Like, yeah, there's some crazy stuff that happens. Or I've been in like Germany, and some fan ended up backstage somehow, was just like busted into the girls' locker room, like, and then security pretty much yoked him and got him out of there because. Lita was there. She's like, "Hey, get out of here, guys!"
Oh my God!
Like, But yeah, like he didn't know what was going on. He knew what was going on.
Oh my gosh, it takes a lot to do that. It's a lot of balls right there. Now, speaking of balls, we're going to do rapid hot tags.
Women's wrestling talk. Rapid hot tags.
So what happens is I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Good at this. Okay.
Okay. Your favorite show to binge watch?
Lucifer.
It's on my to-do list. I'm going to do that.
I get stuck, though. I'll go through different phases. So another one that I'm watching right now is Dear John, but the second season, the Betty Broderick story. Also, another one I told Melina, she just finished watching it, was Killing Eve.
Yeah.
See that? So good. Okay. Yeah.
But
obviously there's the fun ones like Friends and the other ones, but and Sex and the City was it for a long time. I don't get a chance to watch a lot of television because Disney and Nickelodeon run my screen, kind of what we watch here. So either that or it's something like soccer or something else is on this TV. So I don't get a whole lot of TV time.
Okay. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
To fly.
I like it. Your house containing everything you own catches on fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save one last thing. What would it be?
Do you know my house burnt down when I was 6 years old? My house. It was a house that my parents were renting in Ashland. It burnt down on December 5th, and we lost everything. We lost sorry, a little flashback there. So it sucked, but it was also one of those things. It was one of those things where I really began to understand humanity at its finest, because we lost everything right before Christmas. Had to move in with my grandparents, my mom's mom, and but the churches and the community all came together and kind of like helped us with our Christmas, because everything was gone. Like everything was gone. And like all these, like, I don't have a lot of pictures of me prior to about 6 years old, because it was all, most of them were burnt up, and There's a few of them that were damaged, so my little real life story.
No.
If I had to grab obviously, oh God.
I kind of also want to say pictures for you.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I would just make sure my animals were out and my friends, my family's out. I don't know that I would dash back in for anything, because hopefully we could make it happen again or buy it again.
Yeah.
Maybe a photo album. But who has photo albums anymore? I would probably grab a photo album, because that's one of those sad things for me when I look back and I go like, God, I have like 3 baby pictures. I don't have any baby pictures, any like pictures of me kind of growing up until after I was like 7 years old, Mm-hmm. So it was like a whole thing. And obviously you don't remember those times as a child. I don't remember past that early on. I remember that moment because it was such a impactful moment in my life, but yeah.
That's crazy.
Sorry, that was deep, and I'm sure that was not what you wanted out of that answer. That certainly wasn't.
It's real, though. It's raw.
It is. And that's what the show's about. Now, we'll switch it up a little bit. If you were stuck on an island for the rest of your life, what album would you bring?
That is my dream, to be stuck on an island for the rest of my life, where there's mango trees, just self-sufficient, just chilling. I would bring probably the Eagles album, like the greatest hits or something. I love the Eagles. Oh my God. If it was only one.
Yes.
I'm shocked you didn't say Smashing Pumpkins.
Ooh.
Probably, yeah. I would hope to just bring him maybe, and then that way
maybe.
Just,
have him just sing.
Be a lyrical genius all day, Just
fair enough.
Just sing for me. I like exactly what like. This is my island. You're welcome to come.
Now,
my little hut over here.
Now, if you could travel back to any musical era, which one would it be?
Oh gosh. I think like the 80s. Like 80s, early 90s. I really, maybe that's because that's what I grew up with, but I felt like music as a whole told a lot more stories, and it's just told, the albums told better stories, and it was all like the creative you know what I mean? And I think singers, songwriters, and artists kind of do that. I find it hard to follow like a lot of digitized stuff and like technical stuff. Like I just, it's fun if you're dancing and you're drinking and you're partying in a club, but I don't do that as much. So it's just like a different vibe. But I just really love like singers, songwriters. I like storytelling, just like in wrestling. I just like storytelling, and I like to be like connected with the song. So I felt like they did a lot more of that. Plus 80s hair bands. I mean, come on.
And a last question.
What's that? What's that?
Now, last question. If you can remake a song in a duet with anybody dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, man. I would want to do Prince, Purple Rain. I mean, yeah, I would want to do that, but like a different version. Or even I would like to do Nothing Compares to You with him, because he wrote that for Sinead O'Connor. So, but if you've heard his version, it's freaking incredible.
Wow. Like,
yeah, Prince overall is one of the greatest artists of all time, because he wrote all his own stuff and he played on everything and he did a lot of, you know what I mean? He's just one of those musical geniuses all across the board. And he was kind of self-taught a lot of that stuff. So,
yeah, his story is incredible. See, that is the end of Rapid Hot Tags. A little bit longer than usual.
It was a little deep, but it wasn't as hard as I thought.
And now, last thing before we get out of here. So just for you folks out there in Fight TV land, want to get to know us as hosts, Mickie's going to join us as well for this question. We have a panel question. So this question is, so in Lucha Underground, they had the Trios Championship. So my question to you guys is, if you guys can create a Trios team of, made up of, 2 men or 2 women, however you want to make it, who would be on your Trios team?
So I could just go with the easiest and my 2 favorite wrestlers of all time, Sherry and Randy Savage, and that could be our team. I also, if I had to make a B-side, a B-side, I think I would go with Randy Orton, who I think is one of the best wrestlers, especially of like the modern era kind of wrestling, I know and
it's hard.
I know, right?
I'm just debating on whether I should put a male or a female beside me.
Oh, it's so hard.
And Kurt Angle.
Oh, I love
Kurt Angle and Randy Orton. We'd kill everybody.
You would.
Yeah.
I don't know what your team name would be, but you would kill everybody.
We would kill everybody.
Oh my god. Oh my god. See, this is one of the people I was thinking of is kind of already a team though, is obviously like the Hardy Boys and Lita, but that's already a real team. It was a real team. Oh my gosh, this is so hard.
I know, right?
I guess I want to go with like my favorite tag team with Shawn and Triple H with DX, but who would I put with them?
You.
Me?
You're in the team.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, me and DX then.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one. You guys.
So I would choose. So Mick, you really sparked something. Like you gave me your answer and your answer. So I would choose. This would be like the Canadian faction. So I'd choose Jericho and Natty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And myself, because we're all Canadian, so we'll just like dominate the locker room. So.
I love that.
So that was
domination.
There it is, yeah.
Canadian connection.
Canadian domination. No, that's not going to work. That doesn't roll off the tongue too easy.
I know.
A little work.
Yeah,
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
So. For everybody who hasn't kind of figured it out, we have a big event coming up at the end of August. So please tell everybody about the event, where everybody can find you, all that good stuff.
Of course. Well, you can find me at mickiejames.com. You can find everything there. But obviously follow NWA for everything leading into EmPower. And I'm blasting stuff out on my social medias as well. August 28th is EmPower in St. Louis, live from the Chase. August 29th is NWA 73, and we're doing 2 days of television taping on the 30th and 31st for the next season of NWA Power. We're also doing the fanfare on the Saturday and Sunday now during the day prior to the events. There's going to be red carpets. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff, media and press, and Ella's going to be there. TK, are you coming?
Oh, I mean, I was trying to convince right her before you came on, so I think I might have to figure it out and make my way.
I'm trying to convince her. She's like, I don't know. I was like, you need to.
No, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be a whole, just the whole synergy and everything around it. NWA 73 is almost sold out. EmPower is getting there too. She's close to sold out, so I'm excited about that. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please go get them, because I can guarantee you, especially once we announce this fan fest and stuff, the rest are going to go quickly. But yeah, and August 28th, and then the 31st is my birthday, and then we'll have a drink together, a little cocktail.
There it is. Thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. Your passion is amazing, just for everything that you're doing. And thank you for being our first guest in our partnership with Fight. Yeah.
So exciting. Congratulations with that. That's amazing. I'm glad that I'm grateful that I could be your first guest. This is fun.
We appreciate it. Miss Ella, where can everybody find you?
Gosh, how much time you got? Just kidding. No, you can follow me on Twitter at It's Ella J, and you can follow my podcast on Twitter and Instagram at The Wrestling Gal, and you can listen anywhere you find your major podcasts like Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, etc. And I got a lot of other stuff, but if you go to my Twitter, you can find more links there.
I'm finding out more stuff every time I talk. It's like, I mean, I thought I had a lot of jobs, but kudos to everybody in this square.
And God TV, how could I?
Yes, I was like, I got to do my God TV plug. Yeah. It'll help with the Gawcast. Yes. Yeah. God TV every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. So that's myself, Lisa, SoCal Val. TK, you got to come on. We can all have a party. Ella comes in. She comes to the after parties. We do the little after, and it goes anywhere you listen to your podcast if you don't want to watch the show. So, yeah.
I mean, that's perfect because they can watch your show and then they can watch our show, which is on Fight TV every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Which also, the NWA is on Fight TV. Here we are, all one big happy family.
There you go. I mean, it all works out. So definitely check us out. I mean, you're watching us on Fight, but definitely check us out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can check out our website at www.talkpod.com. All social media, www.talkpod. My name is TK. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Yeah, kind of same as Ella. Just look at the social media. There's just a lot going on. There's not enough time. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you again, Mickie, for joining. I think I will make my way. Not I think I will make plans to make my way to EmPower and enjoy. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Women's Wrestling Talk News of the Week. I'm Emily May, and we're breaking down the latest news in women's wrestling. Reported by Sportskeeda, last week Natalya, one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, had surgery to repair her ankle injury, which happened last Monday on Raw. For those unaware, Natalya was injured in a tag team match on Monday Night Raw when she and Tamina faced off with Ava Marie. And Tamina to finish the match on her own, and Natalya was carried out ringside after the conclusion of the match. Following last week's surgery, Natalya has been providing updates on her social media platforms regarding her injury status. It looks like she's making her way to a full recovery, and she revealed that she's already gotten rid of her crutches and is stating that they were getting on her nerves. We are wishing her a very, very speedy recovery. In other news, former three-time world champion Bray Wyatt has been released by WWE, which was announced this past weekend. Many fans across the sports and entertainment industry are asking, how will this affect Alexa Bliss? Alexa Bliss went onto Twitter after the news broke and shared that she is really at a loss for words. Thank you so much for everything you've done for this company. The most fun I've had is working with you. Such an amazing talent and the most kind person. I'm just in shock. I think we can all speak to the fact that we are all shocked about this news. And in the coming weeks, I'm sure we will see what will happen with Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. In All Elite news, as reported by Heel by Nature and F4 Online, AEW World Champion Kenny Omega hopes that this new one-hour Rampage show debuting on August 13th will become a home for more women's wrestling. In a recent interview with Wrestling Observer Radio, the champion spoke on the importance of diversity in their product, stating he believes women's content is currently lacking. Quote here is, I think a variation in content is important. The content we're right now is lacking in our women's division. I would love to see Rampage be more of a home to women's wrestling. I want people to see, appreciate, enjoy some of the talent we have to offer, and I hope that we can get out and show some of these matches that maybe aren't seen by enough people. We've got a lot of great talent on Dark, and people maybe don't want to watch our YouTube channel and want to watch Dynamite or our TV product. And I get that. He continues on and says, I feel that we have a lot of very gifted female wrestlers that have been working really hard, fighting for a spot. Maybe it's time for more women's wrestling. Our next news item is related to Ring of Honor. You can officially write down Quinn McKay for the ROH Women's Championship Tournament. Ring of Honor issued the following announcement this week to confirm the addition of Quinn McKay for the tournament, designed to crown the new ROH Women's Champion. Quinn McKay finally has her ticket to gold, and we can't wait to see where she will go next. She's had previous opportunities to win her way to the tournament. In May, she lost to Angelina Love thanks to a distraction from Mandy Leon. Ring of Honor's board of directors member, Maria Kanellis-Bennett, set up an online poll in which the Ring of Honor fans unanimously, at almost 94%, voted to have McKay be a part of the tournament. Wrestling Inc. has reported that this week, Mickie James has announced that the winner of this Wednesday's AEW Dynamite homecoming match between The Bunny and Legit Layla Hirsch will get an NWA women's title shot at the NWA EmPower pay-per-view on August 28th. Mickie James tweeted, well, back to business, folks. Two incredible competitors, one championship opportunity of a lifetime. Who wants a shot at the Burke? Who really wants to face Camille? Who wants to make herstory at EmPower? I can't wait. Camille, as we all know, became the NWA Women's Champion after she defeated Serena Deeb at NWA's June pay-per-view, When Our Shadows Fall. What will happen, on August 28th at NWA EmPower? Well, we will have to tune in and see. Those are our highlights of the week. You can watch our longer news segment for Women's Wrestling Talk on Thursdays. Tune into our socials for more information on that. I'm Emily May. You can follow me at Emily May Heller. And again, thank you for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.